Shalom Yesharala. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to those Akim that's preached the word in all truth and sincerity, along with Israelite foreigner brothers that like the heathens, but the line of outside goes back to the nation of Israel, which nation of Israel are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans through the prophecies and curses of Deuteronomy 28 chapter and throughout the Bible. So this is Brother Yakal, a month by the lesson, and today's lesson will be entitled The Bitterness and Sweetness of the Truth. I'm just going to go on some precepts, and Lord willing, you brothers and you sisters out there be edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shimon Shai. Because, one thing about being the truth, we have to deal with the bitter and the sweet, and knowing Yahweh Shimon Shai, he's a power or a duality, because the Lord deals with balance, as it says in Proverbs 11:1. And it reads, a false balance is abomination to the Lord Yahweh, but a just weight is his delight. So right, man. So this proves the Lord is not one-sided. The Lord deals with balance, and to experience bitter and sweetness in this truth, that's balance. Now what will be the sweetness of the scriptures? Knowing that the kingdom of heaven only applies to us Israelites, knowing that we are Israelites, that we descend, from our righteous forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The Lord only loves us, the Israelites, begin on with the elect. This will be our last captivity, which is in America, Babylon the Great. Knowing, about, how we're going to get spiritual power. We're going to be like the real X-Men, Superman. The new covenant only applies to us. And, and that is going to be in our inner parts in the kingdom, and we're never going to sin and go into captivity no more after this captivity. So those are just a few examples of the sweet. But what will be the bitter? The bitter will be we have to wait for our Lord Yahweh to come back, because the Lord require us to be patient. We're going to be hated by all men for the name of the Lord's sake. We got to bear our cross, betrayal amongst false brethren in the truth, false accusations being placed upon us. We'd be looked at as weird and or stupid to these people. We have to turn the other cheek on certain things. So just to name a few things on, the sweet and the bitter, and when you read Revelation 10 and verse 9, it says, and I went unto the angel, and this is Apostle John, the blood disciple of our Lord Yahushai, and which is John, the son of Zebedee. He was one of the 12. But it reads, and I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book, which is the Bible. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Right, man? So once again, this is dealing with the truth. It shall make thy belly bitter, because after a while, when you first come to the truth, we learn about all the sweet. You're thinking the Lord Yahweh won't come back the next day or within the next week, but after time, years go by, because each of us came in at different points of time, but after a while we had to wait, we had to, keep enduring hardness as a good soldier. So that's the bitter part. It says, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And once again, knowing the kingdom of heavens only applies to the nation of Israel, that we're going to have these heathens as slaves, we're going to have concubines, billions of wives in the kingdom, man. It says, and I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey, and as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. Right, so because the scriptures say that, to eat this roll. I believe it's in Ezekiel 3rd chapter. So the whole roll consists of the honey and the sweet. The honey, which is the sweet, and the bitter, which is, enduring afflictions, you know, and bearing our cross, man. You see? And we're gonna focus. I'm gonna get a couple precepts on sweet, you know. Uh, but let's go to Sirach in Apocrypha chapter 42 and verse 24. And it reads, all things are double one against another, and he had made nothing imperfect. Right. So the Lord is the Lord created everything perfect. Nothing is imperfect or unbalanced with the Lord. You know. So we're gonna get a couple of precepts on the sweetness. This is Proverbs 3 and 13. It says, happy is a man that findeth wisdom and a man that getteth understanding. Right. So happy, we're supposed to be happy that we have this truth, man, that we know the prophecies, because the Lord has put us up on game than the average person living in America, man. So we know what's to come, before they happen. And that's on a very, very high level, man. And we understand these things, man, because the Lord is the one that gave us understanding, to know the prophecies and to know that, you know, uh, what's going to come to pass before it happens. You see, it says, verse 14, for the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. Right. So having this knowledge, knowing the prophecies, is way better than silver and fine gold. Because those tangible things can be taken away from you. But having this wisdom, having mental fortitude can't be taken from you. Knowing the prophecies and believing in Yahweh Shemosai, your faith, no man can take that joy from you, man. It says, verse 15, she is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared to it. So nothing can be compared to this knowledge and understanding that we have, man. You know, it says, "Let them days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor." See, because once we keep the laws and commandments to the best of our ability, the Lord lengthened our days. You know, because remember the Lord said, by way of Apostle Paul, that the wages of sin is death. Because we apply, which the wisdom of the Lord doesn't only stop at the laws and commandments, but also you have wisdom in Proverbs, Psalms, all throughout the Bible. The different accounts that was written about with our forefathers, you can obtain wisdom from that. So once we apply the wisdom that will benefit us, then it will lengthen our days, man. You see, and in return, Lord willing, we endure it to the end. We're gonna get riches and honor from having His wisdom. It says her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. You see, and that's why our Lord Yahweh Shai says, "Blessed are the peacemakers." Because we're not out here, promoting violence, or we're not out here being a tyrant. The scriptures say, be peaceful unto all men. So that's what we do, man. We don't stir up fights and nothing, or riots, and we just take the low and take the cheek, turn the other cheek, because we know this is not our kingdom. So we just let the Lord handle things, man. So that is a way of peace, and we are at peace in our mind to know that this life that we live is not the end all be all, man. We have something on the other side, which is a kingdom of heaven. You see, it says she is a tree of life to now lay hold on her, and happy is everyone that retain of her, right, man? Yeah, we're gonna, sometimes we're gonna be angry some days. We're really angry every day because we were vexed with the scripture say that, um, you know, the elect, Lord, and part of that, that they will be, they love not their lives unto death. So the elect, they're gonna hate their lives here, you know. and they're gonna be vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. So so yeah, we're gonna be angry because oppression maketh a wise man mad. But what makes us happy is that we rejoice that we have this knowledge, man, that the Lord has given us by way of our apostle, Elder Great Millstone. You see, and let's go to Luke 12 and verse 32. It says, "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." See, so that's part of the sweet, you know. So the Most High Yahweh is going to give us the kingdom, man, and it's going to be our Lord. The Heavenly Father Yahweh is going to give His Son His kingdom on earth, which will be Yahweh Shai's kingdom on earth, man. After the Lord destroys this kingdom, this society, man, Esau's kingdom. You see, so these are just few accounts of the sweet, you know. Now let's go to the bitter. We go to Philippians 1:29. It says, "For unto you it is given in the behalf of Yahweh Shai, not only to believe on Him, but also to suffer for His sake." So yeah, so that's a bitter. We have to suffer for the name of Yahweh Shemon Shai, man. You know, the truth is not about us. We have to take ourselves out of the equation. You know, we have to remember. We have to remember that it's about the body. It's not about one individual. Everything's not going to go your way, as Jake will in the world always wants things their way, which is a spirit of being selfish. So we have to suffer. For Yahweh Shai's sake, man. Once again, your family and your friends is going to be adversaries to you. You know, we got to bear our cross. I just get that real quick because we all got to bear our cross, man. And the Lord said, if a man can't bear his cross, then he can't be his disciple. You see, Luke 14 and verse 27. And it reads, "And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple." Right. So if we're not willing to bear our cross, which is once again suffering for the name of the Lord's sake, catching hell, losing jobs, having financial issues or ailments, or your woman might commit adultery on you with another man, or she might leave you and take the kids if you do have kids, well, children, because kids is really a baby goat, but children, you know, even some of us may even have to die in the truth. That's part of the bitter as well. I didn't mention that. It may be our lot to die in Yahweh Shemon Shai. We have, it may be some of our lots to be beheaded to fulfill the prophecy in Revelation 24 on not receiving the MOTB, the Karagma, the sea hit, man. So that's part of bitter too, but it's going to be a great reward for those that have died in Yahweh Shai, because they laid down their life for the Lord, man. And it actually says, "Precious in the sight of the Lord is in the death of His saints." I just get that. Let's see, death saints. Psalms 116 and 115. "Precious in the sight of the Lord Yahweh is the death of His saints." Right. So the Lord looks at His saints, which are His elect. If they die in the Lord, if they die believing in Him, that's very precious in the sight of the Lord, man. And that's bitter. Having a, which we understand the concept of death. It just, your spirit being separated from your body. Your body, uh, goes back into the earth. Dematerializes back in the earth, and your spirit that the Most High goes back to the Most High Yahweh who gave it. So we understand death by way of the scriptures, but that's just part of the bitter. We have to, and maybe some of our lots to, we may have to, perish in the truth, just like the apostles did back then. All the apostles were put to death, violently, in the ancient world, man. You know, except for John, Apostle John, the son of Zebedee. You know, which he was on the island of Patmos because of the teachings of Yahushua, because the teachings of Yahushua was controversial. You know, so and it was an act of sedition on on Apostle Paul, about not Apostle Paul, Apostle John's behalf of condemning the Roman Empire, that saying that the Roman Empire gonna be destroyed, and which is true, because it's all in prophecy. So, but precious is from the Hebrew yakar, which means valuable, prize, weighty, precious. Yeah, you know. So you are greatly valuable, in the eyes of the Lord if you die in this truth, man. You know, which once again that's part of the bitter, but it's with balance. You're gonna be greatly rewarded and commended in the kingdom for that, man. Because ultimately that's what Yahweh Shai did. He laid down his life for the sheep. You know. So yeah. What's some other precepts I can think of? I get one last one. It's a lot of precepts. Just want to get a few on the bitter. I said earlier, betrayal amongst false brethren. Let me see. False brethren. Let's see. Yep. Galatians 2 and 4. And this is Apostle Paul speaking to the church of Galatia. And that because of false brethren unawares brought in, who came in privately to spy out our liberty which we have in Yahweh Shah Mashiach, that they might bring us into bondage. Right. So, that's part of the bitter, having to deal with, false, brethren in the truth, so-called brothers, wicked niggas in the truth, man. You know, they secretly spies, you know, they working for the devil, for Esau, man, all to bring us into bondage, you know, inspiring our liberty, seeing what we do on our downtime and seeing which we live peaceful, man. All we do is teach, we handle our affairs outside the truth, which go to work, pay bills, pay rent, may have hobbies we like to do, well, not may, but we have hobbies we like to do because each brother is different, and that's it. We just teach the word. We live an honest life, but we understand that, it's going to be a lot of spies in the truth, man. So we acknowledge it, and when the Lord reveals to us who it is, through the Spirit, we don't get surprised because this is what the scriptures say. Yeah, we can be angry, you know, but we understand that this is what Apostle Paul said in spirit, man. So we can't marvel at these things because we were already told these things from the beginning, you know. So that's part of it too, dealing with false brothers. You might have labored with a brother for a while, for years, and he just fall out. That can be that's bitter, But we understand that it was meant to be, and that was just they're allowed to do that, and we have to accept that, you know. So yeah, I was pretty much here. I can, I just wanted to make a quick lesson on the bitterness and sweetness of the truth. And Lord, when it was edifying, I provided, a few examples of the bitter and the sweet. So, until next time, Akim, Shalom.